out now.
What does free sex mean to you? Do you ever think you'd have more sex or better sex if only you could change one thing? What is that thing? I'm Adam Zmith, a writer, podcast producer, walker, talker, thinker, wanker. I started having sex at 29. 29! And I've been obsessed ever since. Now I'm on a mission to find out how, as a society, we hold each other back in sex. What could a world of free sex look like? For me, free sex is a world with more places to fuck and without sexually transmitted infections. How about you? What are you into? Every episode, I speak to a different human with a unique idea for what free sex could mean. This podcast is fully pansexual and gender fluid. From mild to wild, everyone is welcome. Let's go.
Should we show off our kinky selves in public? My guest in this episode is Pup Davey, who's a porn star and an all-round kinky queer person. He makes a living from kinky sex videos and he wants the freedom to share them. Davey and I talked about the limits in society on our freedom to express ourselves sexually, especially if we're kinky. This includes battling online censorship and wearing kinky clothes in the street. One of Davey's stories is about a day he was wearing a pup collar in public and a friend told him to hide it. Should Davey have done that? That's the question we explore in this episode. Ruff. Pup Davey, welcome to Free Sex.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you so much for taking the time today. I definitely want to talk to you a lot about kinky things and about taboos and how we get to free sex. So what does free sex mean to you?
I think free sex to me means that there would be no shame about sex, no taboo about sex, that there are no laws regarding sex, or maybe just the minimal, like to protect people, but anything that we can get rid of, or we can make more is lenient the right words? Just loosen up. We should try to maximize it so that we can experience free sex in a society that accepts sex in pretty much every way that is morally acceptable.
Right. And I think also I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about your own sex life and your own practice, because I think that's really useful for us to know what you're up to when we go into that world that you're talking about. And I can see a little neon sign behind you that says good boy. So are you a good boy? Tell me about that.
Sometimes. I grew up with, I guess, hypersexuality. I don't know, furry porn got me into it a lot. I got pretty addicted to it really quickly, and it got me into BDSM when I was like 15. But it was mostly an online thing for me. It didn't really get much more personal and physical until I was in college. I am a porn star. I make fisting porn, mostly. That's what I'm known for, like big dildos, fisting, and some puppy play and other fetish content, but that's a little less present. I've been doing it, forever. I've never really done anything else. I don't like to do money hookups. I'm not really a grinder type of guy. My sexuality, most of my sexuality at the moment also is filming based, which means it's I am just so into exhibitionism, being recorded. I also like, for me, this is also a little bit like making art or something. Like I am having a creative process, and I'm a performer. I study drama. So whenever I'm having sex, and I think it's really hot, there's always this voice in the back of my head that will scream, "Fuck! I wish this was being recorded." So that is why, for me, I tend to do my dates with camera equipment rolling, because for me it also changes the vibe of what we're doing. It feels less intimate that way and more playful. I guess that's my sexuality pretty much. Not that much horny cocksucking, more like performative, to impress myself, my partner, and people who might be watching.
What have you learned about the things that we show and the things that we hide?
We hide almost everything. Really, almost everything. It is so noticeable for me when I speak to, I don't want to sound disrespectful, but if I use the word normies, that would mean people who are very distant from a free sex life.
Yeah.
And these people are very out of touch with reality around sex. They have no experience. They have no. They're closed-minded. They don't know much about it. They're not informed, and they are scared. I think we hide. People in general, they don't want to talk about sex, and when they talk about sex, it's like. It's so limited to these simplistic ideas. Like if you ask a normal person about BDSM, they will maybe think of 3 things, and it's like, a whips and feet, and they might say something about, I don't know, paying a dominatrix.
Okay.
And that's all the information that they have about such topic in their brain, while there is a spectrum that is insanely large, but they have no clue.
But don't you think this is weird? Because we live in a world of people making porn like you, of doing all of this full everything on the spectrum, like any kind of, I don't know if it's true, but they say that you can, any kind of porn that you can imagine, you can find it, someone's making it. So how do we think about that paradox that there is so much content out there, but yet, like you said, not very many people know about it and talk about it?
You're asking me why?
Well, that's a hard question, isn't it? What do you think about that paradox?
It's tough. It's I blame the porn sites.
Okay.
For they are really they are pushing the normative stuff, like just regular sex, and they are canceling out fetishes. If you want to find fetish contents, you have to specifically look for it. Algorithms are not pushing it. A lot of fetishes are even banned on all of these mainstream sites, and they're this like by some stupid label, like it is dangerous or extreme. Well, it's actually not at all dangerous or extreme. Like, and sometimes they even keep their rules vague so that they can just cancel you for any reason.
Yeah.
I think people they don't get, even though there is so much content, it doesn't have reach.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you say a bit more about how you've experienced that censorship online?
Oh, I got some. Okay. So you know the website Chatterbait, for example. It's the largest live streaming website for sex in the world. It is the most successful. It's actually the only website where, if you as a creator want to have a good audience, that's the only website you can go to because everyone is there. They have all of these silly rules, and it is to protect people, or it's actually because the credit card companies, they don't want to be associated with these things, but they, of course, they claim it is for safety. But there's like these stupid rules, like no sleeping on camera, no pretending to be asleep on camera. You cannot do extreme bondage, whatever that means. So I guess tying your hands together is fine, but as soon as you get into any actually restrictive knots, then banned. No dildos bigger than 30 centimeters or thicker than a soda can. That's a rule. And no, it cannot be a soda can. just if you're wondering, that's also the rules. There's more. So no fisting is allowed because it's marked as dangerous. I'm not even allowed to use dildos that are shaped like animals, and on X Hamster, not even like mermaids.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't know what that means because mermaids aren't real. Yeah, but it's not allowed.
Yeah, they're worried about the complaints from the Mermaid Representation Society.
Yes, I suppose.
But all of this has an impact on you because all of these things are, or a lot of these things are things that you like to do, and they're things that you have an audience for.
Yes, it is restricting my ability to, I guess, first of all, to make money. And to have reach. Half of the major porn websites don't allow the stuff that I post. Sometimes the rules are like, or my videos will get taken down because, like, imagine if you're like doing fisting and you're going really deep and it's really crazy and there's like the tiniest brown speck anywhere. It would just be like, nah, video canceled. It's like, but we're doing anal. What are you expecting? Like, we are not magic. Okay, we're people. We have bodies, and like we're not making it obviously like gross, even though I think sketch should be allowed on these websites, but like you put it in a category, you put labels so people know what they're clicking on if they don't want to see it, of course. But like, treat us as people. We're humans. Like, this censorship is so ridiculous. I can't post anything.
And so, is this for you a version of like free speech and free expression? Do you think that sex, being able to put it online in all of the things that a person does, that is free expression?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I don't have anything else to add to that. Yes. Yes,
okay,
it is.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking it's kind of connected to what you said at the beginning when I asked you the question, is like, how do we, what does free sex mean to you? And it is the freedom to express all of those desires and those actions that you want to do, and to have the freedom to express that.
Sorry, I'm autistic. I don't really know what to say if you're not asking a question.
Sorry. Have you experienced this outside, like outside the internet, like in the real world as well, like where you've been expressing yourself sexually and that's been censored in one way or another?
Yes, of course. I went to my first furry convention, for example. It was what was it? Reference in Belgium, and they had like kink. They had kink spaces and kink panels and short kink events in dedicated spaces, but I was not allowed to wear, for example, my collar outside of those spaces. Not allowed to wear latex outside of those spaces, even though. It's generally not forbidden in the hotel where the event was hosted. The event itself doesn't want to have a bad reputation. So they censor it, even though they know that a huge portion of the people present in their convention are kink friendly. Yeah.
And that's what the whole convention is about.
Yes.
Right?
I remember even like I was going to the latex panel, and they had put up a sign at the door being like, warning, you will be exposed to sexual, like, there's not even sex allowed there, but like a sexual expression beyond this point. And it's like, why are you putting such a warning behind it? Like, it's dangerous. Like, someone is going to die. It's okay. No, like, we weren't even naked there. But I mean, I understand that they're like, they don't want to scare off some people who who are uncomfortable by it. But I think by shielding it off so much, you're keeping this uncomfortableness present. Because if you start exposing people to it, they will quickly get used to it, and it doesn't shock them anymore.
Yes, yeah. Do you know some people, though, some people in the kink world who say, I like that this is separate and that this is seen as a little bit dangerous or a little bit different because it keeps it special? Do you know those people that make that argument?
Oh, that makes it special. Yes, I get it. I mean, like, in a way, like, in the back of my head, I have a tiny voice, another tiny voice, that also says, like, oh, like, for example, remember when puppy play, when not many people did it, and it was like a little bit of a niche, and it felt like more special when you did it, like you were unique. It was because when people express themselves, they want to stand out. They want to be something that other people are not. But suddenly everyone is doing it, and you lose that sense of individuality. But of course that is a toxic human trait. I know that it's problematic. Like, I should not be discouraging people from doing something that they like just because I like doing it and I want to keep it like as my little private thing. It's not mine to own, and I think we should like encourage it, of course. But in the back of my head, like, I think it's a human trait, but it's a toxic trait, and I can recognize this.
It's like when people say, oh, I knew that band before they were famous, and I used to go to their gigs before they were mainstream, stuff like that.
Yeah. But now that they're mainstream, it's no longer cool.
Exactly. And I don't like them anymore.
I was in, what was it? I think it was Barcelona. I'm not entirely, no, yeah. I'm not sure where it was. It was in Spain with two kinky friends. And we were going out to eat, and we're going to walk by the shoreline to look for some fish restaurants and have a meal. And I walked out and I was wearing my collar, as I always do or regularly do. And suddenly we were like 2 streets further, and this guy, one of my friends, who I didn't really know very well before, but like we were just meeting up, he was like, oh, you're still wearing your collar? Yeah, of course. He wanted me to take it off. I'm like, why? He said, because this is a good neighborhood. I'm like, what? You think the neighborhood is not going to be good anymore when I walk around with my collar? Like, that made no sense. And I was so frustrated. And what made me mostly angry at myself was that I complied, and I went back and I took it off. Because he didn't want to go further if I was wearing it. And I am never doing that again, by the way. I'm not compromising like that again. But I did. I felt pressured.
How do you think you could do that differently again? Because, you know, if that situation happened again, I feel like that's something he's trying to stop us get to a free sex world, in a way. Your friend is trying to stop us get to a free sex world. So if you want to help us to get to a free sex world, and you want to keep that collar on, how do you think you could do that differently?
I don't know. I don't know. It made me really uncomfortable. And I felt shamed. And I felt guilty. I felt actively like I was a problem. I don't want to fight over it as well. I don't want to get into a fight with my friends. And I think it's like I feel awful about making that I'm making them comfortable. But I think you'll get over it. And all of these other people, they don't mind. Like, you don't have to be embarrassed for me. It's okay. These people, they don't care. They look at me for 1 second and I pass them and they go on with their life. They won't even remember this next week.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how it would be different if you were a pack of pups in that same neighborhood, and you had, you know, if there were 10 of you and you had collars on and masks on, what would happen?
I don't know. It's a good neighborhood, so I don't think we'll get beat up.
Okay, right, yeah. But it does make me think about the limits of kink expression that we have in public like that, because I think there'd be, you know, I think a lot of people, even the most adventurous pups or kinky people, they would they would worry about doing something like that, wouldn't they? I think.
Yes, and rightfully so, because you can get in trouble, and people can. I mean, if you provoke someone, even if you're not actively provoking anybody, but people will feel provoked. Just by being gay in the street, people are provoked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there's always, like, especially as a queer person, and especially as a kinky queer person, you are at risk, and you are putting yourself at risk by expressing yourself. And the question that you have to ask yourself is, do I want to give into oppression to ensure my safety, or will I resist and express myself as I want to be seen and expressed? But risk getting into trouble. And of course that makes, I mean, I'm not saying that if you go out there that you're risking it and you're asking for it. No way. But that is a thought process you have to go through. And I understand completely if there are people who are scared to express themselves. And I hope that they are not, or that they can do something about it. And I hope that they can do it in a way that is safe for them, and that they will never, ever get any backlash. And I'm speaking from privilege, by the way. I have never been beat up. Okay? I have never been a victim. Even if I wear latex or a collar in public, I have been provoked, and people have come up to me and they have been insulting me. And I'm not saying that all the people who get beat up are not good at downplaying a situation or at de-escalating a situation. That is something that I have been able to do successfully. But maybe I just got lucky. And I'm sure that if I got beat up before, that would change my entire perspective. Trauma is not easily resolved.
Yes. Yeah, it would change you. Yeah. I'm wondering about laws that protect us in certain countries. I'm in London in the UK, and we have, there are laws here that protect us based on characteristics of who we are. Like, you can't discriminate against me on the grounds of my sexual gender or my age or race and things like that. Obviously, different countries have different laws around that. But it makes me wonder about kink identity. I understand that it's different from those other things, but it makes me wonder whether we should have laws against discrimination on the grounds of sexual expression or something like that, which is slightly different from sexual orientation, right?
But isn't it already against the law to bother people, to stalk people, or to, I guess, beat people up or threaten people? That is, your safety should be guaranteed no matter what you do. I'm pretty sure that this is a common ground, and I think it's even silly that they have to add in, also don't do it to gay people. It's it's already common sense, or at least you would think so. I think adding up, if you add in the law, and also don't do it to kinky people are still going to do it. It's not going to change anything.
That's right. I think
people will just actively resist it more.
Yeah, and that might actually it might create more of a problem if there was that debate about whether we should have that. I think it's to say that there is an extra, if there's discrimination happening on the grounds of one of these types of characteristics, that it's even more serious, because you're not just attacking the physical body, you're attacking the soul, the personhood, which includes, and the identity. But I hadn't thought about it before. I just imagined you walking in that street with that collar and just expressing yourself and how protected you were actually. But I agree that the law isn't everything, is it? It's we have to find ways.
No, it's symbolic.
Yeah.
And I guess it could become less of a symbolic thing and more of a practical thing when it is more properly enforced.
Yeah.
But it isn't.
Yeah.
It's not like we have the queer police that goes walking around and protecting queer people and actively scanning out for any gay person who might be in a problematic situation.
Yeah. I want to ask you about what you think needs to change so that the people who are kind of interested in kinky things and interested in kink expression, what needs to change so that they can find out more about those things and see those things and become involved?
Okay, I'm gonna say something controversial. But I think we need to discuss some things like this more at school.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we need to go at school and convert people to be kinksters. Okay, similar to how teaching people about being gay is not converting them to be gay. And I'm not saying we should. I'm saying you should give them a whole class about what breath play is. That's also not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that you need to talk about hypersexuality in class. Because hypersexuality is also where a lot of problems begin. Like you have fetish addiction, pedophilia usually starts in the teenage years. Like if you address all of these issues from a young age, you'll be like, okay, statistically, this many of usually guys will start developing a porn addiction, and will get hypersexuality, and will fall into a web of fetish that has risks. Like you have bad people out there who will take advantage of you, especially if you're young, and just like giving them the tools. I don't know what those tools are. Okay, I am not a scientist. I'm just here to spread an idea, not to tell you how to execute it. But just give young people, the tools to know what's up, to be aware of what exists, what you can find, and if you need more information, places to go to.
Yeah. How would that be different from the sex education that you got, Davey, when you were at school?
Oh, my sex education. I didn't really learn much. I learned how to put a condom over a fake fake dick. And the person who could do it the fastest got a candy or something.
It was a competition.
Yes. I learned about STIs, and in biology, my teacher even said, and now there's even people who can become 60 years old when they have HIV, which was outdated, of course, because it was like 2013. People could become infinitely old. I don't know. It was still. I feel like the sexual education I got was still out of touch. It was not inclusive. Didn't learn anything about anal. Didn't learn anything about. I didn't even learn like how to do something. Like there was no guide. And like of course I'm like, we don't have to like. There's almost this exploration. Like you don't have to learn how to do it in school, but just like you gotta have something. I didn't get anything.
What about the principle of pleasure? Was that, not about any specifics of the different methods that people use to get pleasure, but the idea that sex is really about enjoying your body and that there are...
Yes, that was clearly told us.
Right.
That it was just for fun. And you could have babies if you wanted to, but usually you'll have sex for fun.
Okay.
Because you're like most people, like maybe if they're like very religious, they'll only have sex when they actually actively are trying for a baby. But most of the time when people have sex, it's just all good fun.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's really it's just really great to hear you talk about that as well, because it's such a your school experience, because it's such a contrast from the sort of freer, more expansive world that you live in now, and it's just interesting to see how like that teenager becomes the performer that you are now, and that you've probably had to like explore that world yourself and learn about that and do all of and then become your own business, become your own performer. Do you have any other thoughts about all of these things, about how we can help more people to have the sex that they want to have, get to that free sex world?
I've already said it.
Yeah.
More representation.
Yeah.
Representation is key. But the representation, education, and I think, I don't know, like I'm really a fan of free speech,
Mm-hmm.
but I am not a fan of hate speech,
Mm-hmm.
and I am not a fan of misinformation.
Okay.
Which are apparently misinformation spreads. What was it? I'm not gonna make up a fake statistic. 5 times faster than real information.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's more controversial, and hate speech does so too. Like if it's triggering, it spreads.
Yes.
If it draws people's attention.
Yeah.
So I think that's also why we see a sudden decline in acceptance in general.
I see.
And I'm a fan of free speech, but I think it would be nice if we had restrictions that can actually hold people accountable for when you are actively trying to villainize groups of people on a large scale.
Yeah.
Like it's okay if you say some bad stuff about certain groups of people to a few people, like your friends or a random stranger, that's fine. But if you get like a platform and you have 50,000 subscribers or 500,000 subscribers, and you're like spreading hate about certain people, I think the law should intervene, and we should be like, whoa, we gotta protect these people. You are stigmatizing them.
Is that happening against kinksters right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But they don't talk about I think the super kinky people right now are safe because it's only at the beginning level of kink. Like people don't even talk about extreme level of kink because it's already silly level of kink.
Yeah.
That is problematic.
Yeah. Okay.
In their eyes. So they will talk about, like, for example, furries. They get so much backlash for not even doing anything.
Yeah.
It's just like a laughing stock. Like, why would you talk about people who practice breath play when you're already laughing about people who just have a foot fetish?
Right. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Yeah, really, really interesting. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your thoughts about this. It's been really, really useful. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode. Let me know what you think of free sex, the idea, or the podcast. Leave me a review and a star rating if you can. On social media, I'm at Adam Zmith. Yes, that's Smith, but with a Z or a Z. Yeah, Zmith. It feels good in the mouth. You can find more Aunt Nell productions on our website, auntnell.com. And on social, we're at AuntNell_. The theme music is Trans Life by Othon, hosted, produced and edited by Adam Zmith, and the executive producer for Aunt Nell is Tash Walker. To all you loves and lovers, good night. Mwah.